Hello, I'm Anthony Giarrusso, and I am the author and publisher of Travel with Me, Anthony M. Giarrusso. You can pick up my book at lulu.com, that is lulu.com, in their bookstore. Saco, Ogunquit, York, and Kittery, Maine. Hello, I'm a Giarrusso wearing a yellow polo. I am Yellow Polo Giarrusso. Anthony Giarrusso. What made it so special for me is one particular location. Town Splashtown, USA. I've actually never been to the Splashtown part of the park. I've only been to the Funtown area, which are all the dry rides. I prefer the dry rides over the water park type rides. Water slides and other things like that don't really interest me as much as roller coasters and thrill rides, and I just find dry rides just more exciting and more fun. I used to live in Stratham, New Hampshire, and Funtown and Cannibal Lake Park were equidistant in between the same amount of distance from Stratham, New Hampshire, approximately. Cannibal Lake Park has more rides and attractions in comparison to just the Funtown Park in Saco Maine. However, Funtown in Saco Maine has the second best wooden roller coaster I have ever been on. And the wooden roller coaster at Cannibal Lake Park does not even compare. In fact, the one at Cannibal Lake Park is quite poor in comparison to the wooden roller coasters I've ridden across the country. Excalibur is the name of the wooden roller coaster at Funtown, and what made it so excellent is the smoothness for a wooden roller coaster, the ride comfort, the legroom within the train, the airtime during the duration of the roller coaster, and the G-forces, which are not too extreme, but not boring or uninteresting. There was a lot of corners on Excalibur as well. So for your own personal experience, for you to know what I'm talking about, you're going to have to go to Funtown in Saco Maine, ride Excalibur, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, I like this roller coaster so much that if I was wealthy, I would actually clone this ride and build it in my own backyard. Remember, that's if I was wealthy. The only wooden roller coaster that I like more than Excalibur is Wildcat at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be doing a video on this, or at least I'm planning on doing a video on this later on. As you know, I've traveled across the world and I've been to different theme parks all over the place. And I've ridden many roller coasters. And I'm telling you that Excalibur is the best wooden roller coaster in the state of Maine and is the second best wooden roller coaster in the whole country / whole world that I've ever been on. Another really interesting attraction that Cannibal Lake Park does not have is Dragon's Ascent. It is a turbo drop style free fall ride. Now, at Cannon Lake Park, they have a launched free fall, which is really short. It's actually the shortest launched free fall I've ever been on, ever. And that's called the Star Blaster over there. But at Funtown, Dragon's Ascent is a turbo drop. So what it does is it slowly brings up the seats. You have kind of like, if you've never been on a ride like this, it's almost like a square frame. And then you have seats on the outside of the square frame. On a turbo drop, and I believe that this is why it's called turbos, because it uses boosted acceleration to drop you. I don't think there's actually a turbo at all. There might be, but I don't think that's why they call it that. I just think they use the word turbo just to make it sound exciting. So they bring you up to the top just like an elevator. Very, very slow and get you to the top. And once you're at the top, you can see for miles. And if you're on the east side and look straight out, you will see the ocean. It's really amazing. And then it will launch downward, so all the blood from your head rushes to your feet. And it goes really fast down, and then really close to the ground, it'll slow down and it'll stop, and then the ride is over. And then you walk off the ride, and almost everyone's kind of like a little wobbly walking off the ride. It's really funny, especially if you ride it like 3 or 4 times in a row. But good times, definitely. They have the teacups ride. They have a wild mouse roller coaster, which is fun, but it's one of those wild mouse roller coasters that you can find, just about anywhere. They're very common. They're cloned rides. Sometimes you can find them at fairs. It's not like a super fancy wild mouse. They have a swing ship, they have vintage cars, they have teacups. They had a scrambler which played the Fire on High song from Electric Light Orchestra, but it's a slower ride. It is not a thrill ride style. It's more like they slowed it down a lot, and they have like dance party lights in there. But if you want a real thrill for a scrambler, you're going to want to go to Cannon Lake Park and ride Psychodrome, where they have a grass cutter scrambler that goes really fast, and they play loud, obnoxious music that I like to listen to, if you were wondering. Ogunquit, Maine is one of my favorite locations in all of Maine. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites. You need to go down to Perkins Cove Road to see what I'm talking about. It's a great area to walk around. You'll see the ocean. You'll see all these amazing places to go tide pooling. One of my favorite places was the candy store, because I remember going to the candy store and getting all different types of candies that they don't even sell at the supermarket. There was like a marshmallow ice cream cone type thing, and it was colored to look like an ice cream cone, but it was all marshmallow. And there's a saltwater taffy and a lot of other really cool stuff. There are also a few restaurants down there, and even some galleries if you're interested in art or things that you'd like to see in a museum. you could go down to Perkins Cove Road. I know this will interest a lot more of the older crowd, which is great because if you're a student, you can tell your parents to take you over there to Perkins Cove Road so you can go to the restaurant, check out the galleries because they'll be interested in that. And then, of course, at the end of the day, you can go to the candy shop where your parents will pay you for that experience in theory with the candy that you choose. Ogunquit, Maine is also well known for bird watching. It's one of the best places to do it in the whole state, allegedly. Now, when I was there, I saw a lot of different birds, and there's a lot of different bird species. And I'm not going to get into all those names because most of those names I can't even pronounce correctly. But if you go there, most likely you're going to see a lot of birds. And if you go there during spring or fall, when they're doing migratory stuff, so you're going to see all the local birds plus all the migratory birds on top of that. And sometimes it can get really, really loud with bird noises. It's a really incredible experience. York, Maine. Now, I forgot to publish something in my book about York, Maine. I actually went on a field trip with my school, and I don't remember exactly how old I was. I think this was elementary school. And they had this old-fashioned museum where they kind of reenacted how things used to be a long time ago, and they made like some kind of beef stew, and we had like a meal, like an old-fashioned meal. It was okay. I'm not really a beef stew kind of eater kind of person, but it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but I ate like some of the potatoes in the stew, and I ate some bread. That was about it. But a lot of the other people who really like that kind of stuff, they really enjoyed it. I remember they showed like the jump ropes, and I think there was even like stilts. I guess stilts were a popular toy back then, a long time ago. And they wore all these really strange clothes, and they used to make garments of clothing a really, really old-fashioned way that is so different from how they make clothes like what I'm wearing right now today. Very, very different. Probably the most interesting thing about this museum, I don't remember what the museum is, but it made me really appreciate how living in modern days is so much better than living hundreds of years ago. Now, I did write about York, Maine because, yes, York's Wild Kingdom, which I have been to, I just haven't been to the zoo part. Now, what's really unusual about this place is it's free entry to the theme park rides area. I didn't get to go on any rides because my parents didn't want to pay for me to go on any rides. Yep. My parents were the parents that took me to York's Wild Kingdom and didn't want me to go on any rides because we had to pay to go on the rides. Yes, those are my parents. And we didn't get to go to the zoo because you had to pay to go in the zoo. But we could walk around. Isn't that wonderful? And look at everyone else having fun. It's up for me. That's exactly what happened when we went there. But because I know that a lot of people had fun there, and it's really close by to a lot of people in New Hampshire and in Maine, a lot of people will go there and have fun. And that's really, really brilliant about York, Maine. Now, a special place in my heart goes to this place, Kittery, Maine. My parents used to shop with me at the outlets all the time, so I assume the reason why I couldn't go to York's Wild Kingdom is because of all the shopping sprees we did at Kittery, Maine. That's what I think it is, but I don't really know for sure. I shopped at Brookstone, Banana Republic, Skechers, Reebok, Gap, Bass Outlet, and a whole bunch of other stores that I cannot remember the name of. For my younger sibling, we shopped at Carter's, which is like for babies, and we'd always go out to eat somewhere around there. There was also a candy store right next to the Weather Vane. My parents really liked Weather Vane. And there was another seafood place that we went to that had a lighthouse kind of themed attachment to it. And then that restaurant closed down and then became another seafood restaurant, which was also good. I just can't think of their names right now. I remember doing a lot of shoe shopping in Kittery, Maine. I remember going to a specialty leather store in Maine. I remember going to all these different strip mall things and walking around. I remember at one of the strip malls there was this really big toy store near some kind of tower of a strip mall. I remember walking around with my parents and we'd walk around to all the different outlets. We'd park our car somewhere and then we'd walk all around. It was an experience, definitely. We didn't drive around to the parking lots. We literally went to one parking lot or two parking lots and we just walk around on each side. It was really incredible. There were so many places we walked to. That's really fascinating to me, which most people probably didn't. I think they just got in their cars and just drove to the closest store that they needed to go to. I'll always remember going over that big bridge between New Hampshire and Maine, where it goes over the Pasquaqua River. And as soon as you get over into Maine, you have these big cylinder-like things. And they had, at the time, a red lobster painted logo. It wasn't for the restaurant Red Lobster. It was like they just had the shape of a lobster in the color of red, and it was painted on the white background of these giant cylinder drums. I don't know exactly what they were for. And you would see that coming from New Hampshire into Maine over the bridge on Interstate 95. I also remember crossing a drawbridge that went from Portsmouth, New Hampshire to Kittery, Maine, and we'd always get stuck in traffic because they raised the drawbridge. And then we stopped going across the drawbridge because it was too inconvenient, so we just started just going 95. And those are some amazing memories I've had in Maine. My next series is going to be on New Hampshire. So if you have ever had any amazing experiences in the state of Maine, or if you would like me to help you figure out where to travel in Maine for your next vacation or short day trip, email me, Anthony Giarrusso at wondersofAnthony@gmail.com. And don't forget to pick up a copy of my book, Travel with Me, Anthony M. Giarrusso, which you can buy at lulu.com, Barnes & Noble, Booktopia, and a few other locations. Don't forget to email me. Have a great day.